Oh, I don't know. I think maybe the quarterback who's fifth in passing yards from 2023 on, past two seasons and 27 games. There's only one name who's in the top five, and it happens to be Baker Mayfield. That's one of the names I'm just kicking out there out of three.
Let's put this out there. We saved the one dude who not only was the only one that was a second-round draft pick, but these other three brothers are number one overall picks.
Yeah, and Heisman Trophy winners.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, think about it. So I when I was thinking about this on the drive in here, and as I was sitting outside, Kyler Murray to me right now feels like, again, if we're going back to some of the other things that we've always talked about, he's pretty spectacular to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, he's a jitterbug out there. He's running around. You never know what's going to happen. He can extend a play, and they're winning. If you look at what's going on over the last several weeks, there's a winning record that's starting to be produced. And the camaraderie with him and Harrison, the running game starting to get going. They're winning some tough games by one here and there. So I tend to say out of the three remaining guys left, Kyler right now probably should be the one that I would throw my hat in.
I would lean. So he's obviously going with Baker Mayfield.
Listen,
he still can.
I'll kick the can down the road.
Okay.
I'll back up on the cliff where I'm fighting off three different guys with one sword, and I'll kick that down the road. We'll do the Kyler versus Caleb debate right now. How about that?
Kyler versus Caleb. If you were to start a franchise right now, who would you feel more comfortable going with Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams? Take contracts out of it. I know Kyler's on his second deal already. Just on ability, age, and what you project them out to be, would you rather have Kyler Murray or Caleb Williams? I would still argue I probably would take Caleb, though.
Ooh, I'm going a different way.
Yeah?
I mean, mainly for the mere fact, again, I may be showing my age. I know what I'm getting with Kyler, and he still is relatively young.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I put the pieces around him and put him in a position offensively where he can make the right decisions consistently and use his legs to extend plays, I don't know what I'm getting with Caleb. What are we at? We have 9-game experience with him, right? So I don't know what I'm going to get long-term with him. I know what I'm getting with Kyler Murray.
We have never seen a quarterback succeed with the Chicago Bears. We never have.
No, ever.
And specifically under Shane Waldron, under Luke Getsy, under Matt Eberflus, there's been no model of consistency or modicum of success. So it's hard to judge Caleb Williams on these 9 games. Kyler Murray, you're right. Between Baker, Caleb, and Kyler, he should be saved right here.
One thing is, though, none of these quarterbacks, an organization had to make them sign the dotted line that said that they would study a minimum amount of film. And the Cardinals had to do that with Kyler Murray.
Yes, they did. I agree that looks bad. But the Browns let Baker go. That to me is worse than retaining a quarterback with a clause, is them saying, hey, we're good.
Yeah, the sound decision makers over there in Cleveland, Ohio. You're right.
Well, by the way, they may be regretting that decision right now, right? I mean, with what he's done, that's why I think this conversation comes down to Baker and Caleb.
It does. Okay, so Kyler's safe. Kyler's good.
All right.
He got a franchise to re-up with him at I think, what, $48 million a year? He's good.
He got that franchise to buy into him twice.
Yeah.
They had a first-round pick quarterback, and they kicked him out of the building immediately. That's how sold they were on Kyler. And then they fell back in love. They renewed their vows.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's true.
And they signed for the long-term deal.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Kyler's safe, and Jalen Hurts are safe. That leaves us Caleb Williams and Baker Mayfield, 2 former number 1 overall picks, 2 quarterbacks that, I mean, sometimes they rub people the wrong way. The hive for them, the people that root for them go through and through. I know people that are Baker stans. What do they call Baker Bros?
Yeah.
That's what the 4 to 6 show calls them, Russo and Rizzo. They consider themselves Bros? Baker Bros.
Yeah. We had, didn't Stone have like a Baker Mayfield candle?
Yes.
Stone Labanowitz, who used to work here, Baker Mayfield candle he would light up.
Wow.
There's people
on
that
Sundays or every day?
He had it at the office.
Oh, my gosh. Let's check it. Let's check his mental state real quick.
Yes. It was a very volatile candle, like Baker Mayfield's play.
So, all right. So, make the case for Baker.
So, I'll make the case for Baker, and I made this case yesterday. A bird in the hand is worth more than 2 in a bush.
Okay.
With Caleb Williams, we are giving him the benefit of the doubt because he is a highly touted prospect. And we're saying, you know what? Like Theo Dorsey just said, we can't judge a quarterback based on how they look with the Bears because no one has looked good with the Bears. And we kind of thought about that. Wait a second. Well, Baker Mayfield, we did this experiment. He looked pretty good with the Browns, and then he got hurt and looked a little bit worse with the Browns. Who has succeeded with the Browns? Not many. Then he went to a couple of other stops. Carolina. Who has looked good with Carolina?
Cam Newton.
That's
Who
it.
has looked good with this version of Carolina? Not many quarterbacks have looked good in Carolina. Got an opportunity with the Rams, made the most of that opportunity, and now we're seeing the full potential of Baker Mayfield in front of us. Maybe Caleb Williams, if the changing the guard in Chicago goes well, or even if maybe 3 years down the road he's somewhere else, maybe he does live up to that prospect. But we've seen Baker do that already. Baker Mayfield is the bird in the hand.
Yeah, but if the bird in the hand, where's it going to get you to?
The bird in the hand has these wings that expand.
Yeah.
It's like a hawk, actually. You're holding a hawk.
But one of his wings are injured. One of his wings are a little faulty, and sometimes he just like flies in circles. You're like, well, I want to go straight, but he goes in circles. That's Baker Mayfield experience.
Baker Mayfield was a bird. He was a duck in the BP oil spill, and they dusted him off with Dawn dish soap. And now all of a sudden, he is just flying high.
His only good seasons. This guy's an idiot. You see what I have to deal with every day, Ty?
Oh, this is fascinating. I'm loving it.
So when he had Kevin Stefanski or Sean McVay or Liam Cohen or Dave Canales, that's when he's good. When he has really, really good offensive play callers, that's when you get good Baker. And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and stuff. Like,
okay,
Hey,
so
you do seem stiff arm.
wow, that may have been one of the best plays in a long time.
Like an 8-yard stiff arm for one of the best defensive players in the NFL to throw that fourth down completion.
Yeah.
Nasty.
All right, so then make the case for Caleb.
Okay.
Because I'm still up in the air here.
Here's what I'll say about Caleb Williams, though. Like, when it comes to tools, I don't think any of us would agree. I think all of us would agree Caleb Williams has all of the more tools than Baker Mayfield, right? Bigger arm.
Oh, you're saying as a quarterback, not as the players on his team.
No, yeah. Well, forget the players on the team. I mean, like as a quarterback,
like
what he has in his toolbox.
Yeah, in his toolbox, he's got a lot of tricks.
He can make more plays than what Baker can. I think that the problem with Caleb Williams is, number one, he holds the ball too long. And number two, it feels like that offense was disjointed in the first place, so he's never really gotten a good hold on it. I prefer the two in the bush when I believe that those two in the bush have been untapped. Their talent have been untapped because of poor offensive line play, a offensive coordinator that has been criticized by literally everybody since before he got the Bears job. Like Shane Waldron was getting talked crap about by former Seahawks. Current Bears, have you heard the way that Keenan Allen and DJ Moore have talked about him? They said he was ill-prepared. He wasn't making adjustments in a timely way. He wasn't professional. I just feel like if I get me a Liam Cohen with the Buccaneers, if I get me a coordinator that can push some easy buttons, I would get more out of Caleb Williams than I can out of Baker Mayfield. So I think knowing what I get out of Baker Mayfield to me is what hurts his resume, whereas I take the potential of Caleb Williams over him right now.
No, Todd. It's in your court.
I understand potential, and I think that's a very valid argument, even though I'm coming full circle to something I said earlier. But let me interject something. Locker room. All former athletes in this room. The locker room matters.
Yeah.
The locker room matters. That plays a factor into whether or not we're going to step out on that field together and are we connected. And if you look at where Baker has gone, for all commentary coming out of it, the locker room loves him.
Yeah.
They don't like to see him go.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part.
Outside of OBJ.
OBJ,
That's just because he couldn't get him the ball.
They couldn't get him the ball.
So I will agree with you on this. It feels like Caleb Williams has already lost his locker room through 9 games.
Which is not great when you're the young prodigy.
I think that kind of does it. I can't fight this battle anymore for him. If he can't, here's my thing. I still stick with Caleb Williams, but if you can't win over your own locker room, if you got veterans going and calling for Tyson Bagent to start over you, then yeah, at this point in 2024, November
15, 2024, I think we've got to go with Baker because of all of that. But again, we say this every week. It's not bad to be fourth on this week, potentially when you have potential and you're only 9 games into your career.
Exactly. So at this juncture, sorry, Caleb. But Caleb Williams, you missed the cut.
Oh, my goodness.
This is not good.
It's beyond hard to watch.